our institutions to the greatest extent possible. Thank you.
Reprise du débat, continuing debate. The honourable member for Saanich, Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honor to rise in this place virtually to join the debate, and I want to start by thanking the opportunity to have this speech, but also to say that I will be splitting my time with the honourable member for Edmonton-Griesbach. I'm trying to, as I think Canadians are from coast to coast to coast, we're grappling with something deeply shocking. And it was only yesterday the Prime Minister stood in this place, and I was, as I think all of us were, completely astonished with what he said and the implications of what he said for rule of law, for the notion which we have been grappling with in this place since the spring of foreign interference, initially in our electoral process, but now foreign interference by governments alleged at the most deeply alarming, troubling violation of sovereignty, violation of decency, morality. We really do lack for words, which is rare in this place. But I do want to be mindful that the Prime Minister chose his words carefully, and so will I. We do not yet have facts that say that the state of India was involved directly in the killing of a Canadian. But what the Prime Minister said was that, quote, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. I want to stay with those words and try to keep my remarks within the bounds of what the Prime Minister has told us we know and we can talk about, and not assume that we have all the facts, because we don't. But I do want to say how deeply, deeply we wish to share condolences and our sympathies with the family of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. It's clear now his son has been talking with the media that not only was his father warned that his life might be at risk, recent media story says he met regularly with...
I apologize to the honourable member, but we lost sound. We can't hear the honourable member. We can't hear you.
You can't hear me now?
Now we can, yes. Now we can.
Oh, I don't know how much time do I have left so I can find out?
5 seconds.
How much?
2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm informing my thoughts. I find this a very difficult topic because we have had allegations of foreign interference, and now nothing could be more disturbing and troubling and unacceptable than the murder of a Canadian on Canadian soil. But I think we have obligation as parliamentarians to stay calm, to allow the investigation to take place. We must, and I think we all are united in this, insist on justice being done, that the perpetrators be found. But the questions that I have at this point, as we stay calm and seek the facts, is what on earth is going on with our security agencies that they were unable to keep Mr. Nijjar safe on Canadian soil? They had warnings, they knew. So that's a question that I have in my mind, and I hope that we can get to the bottom of that as well. We need to know, obviously, we need to know for a fact, was the Indian government involved in killing a Canadian? That we need to know, and we don't know that yet. But I'm reminded of the Air India inquiry. And the Air India inquiry, of course, was into the 1985 bombing, which was the single largest terrorist attack ever in Canada. It killed 329 people. But Mr. Justice Major's report, I remember with great clarity, told us that we could have averted that bombing if only CSIS and the RCMP had communicated with each other to avert the attack. So when I know that now we know in June, Mr. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was murdered, and our security forces had advance warning, but they didn't prevent his killing, I want to ask some of those same questions. Were they talking to each other? What steps were taken? What steps weren't taken? I'm also quite shocked, Madam Speaker, by the news that has come out through the CBC from comments made by the Minister for Emergency Preparedness that the Prime Minister chose to tell us this yesterday because otherwise the information was going to be in the media. So once again, we're drawn back to the reality, not a suggestion, but the reality that in our security agencies, we have people who think it's okay to leak information to the media. I go back to the report of our Right Honorable David Johnson, former special rapporteur. We know how that went, but Mr. Johnson made it very clear we have to find out who leaks information from our security agencies because it brings Canadian security information and it brings our security forces into disrepute with our Five Eyes partners. Security agencies need to understand what's not secret.
I apologize, but we do have to go to questions and comments. Questions and comments? The Honourable Member for Port Moody, Coquitlam. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member from Saanich Gulf Islands. I've listened to a couple of her questions tonight too were specifically about some concerns around the intelligence that comes from our public safety department. So I just wonder if she could expand a little bit on, does she have any thoughts about what's going on there?
The Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you to my friend from Port Coquitlam. The question is, what is our role as members of Parliament? Is one thing that I put that lens on in trying to figure out what I was going to say this evening. I mean, we can always comment on what we know about Prime Minister Modi and his anti-human rights record and so on. But what do we really know, and what, as parliamentarians, should we have a responsibility to oversee? I think we need to pay a lot more attention to what's going on in CSIS and the RCMP. The RCMP, through what we haven't focused on this House much, it may seem unrelated to some members, but the mass casualty report points to an agency that has deep, deep rot and real problems. And we look at CSIS, and I don't understand how we can allow people in CSIS to call themselves whistleblowers when they violate national security legislation, apparently with impunity, and apparently someone has done it again. I think we need to look at that.
Questions and comments? Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Edmonton Grisba.
Thank you very much,